Surprise, unsure. Oh, hey. Sorry. Didn't see you there. Oh God. Just was, catching up on some Stephen King books. How are we doing? I think we're live now. Yikes. So let me know how we're doing. It's cool to see Ash is already in here. Stop motion bird. That's a very cool name. But yeah, today we're going to be ranking Stephen King movie adaptations. So I know it's not the most original concept, but hey, man, it's Sunday night. What else are you going to do? Yeah, we got Lego. Hopefully she comes in here at some point, but for right now, it's just me. AV, Atomic Vampire, what's up, dude? And Josh, Yoinky Splinky. What's up, girl? Anybody else watch Usher's performance at the Super Bowl? Dude, he crushed that, in my opinion, man. He killed that. I like how he did the let it burn, let it burn. And he went from that to this is my confession. That was good stuff. But yeah, anyway. What's up, Azael, Bree? So let me know what you guys think about Stephen King and his movie adaptations, because it's a little like it's kind of crazy, to be honest. And I should probably pull up this tier list too. But yeah, just waiting on Lego to get in here, and we should be good. Let's see. The good oldies. Yeah, he was pumping out. It's weird because how old is Usher now? He's got to be in his 50s, but the dude is like, he looks younger than me. It's crazy. Josh, yeah, Cujo remake. Let's see. Couple other people piling in here. Lestat, The Shining is a masterpiece. I mean, come on, bro. You already know. Okay. Couple other people. What do you think? Should we get into it soon? Yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I should have probably pulled up this tier ranking sooner, but that's what you get when you watch a Rob W stream. What's up, Yvette? How you doing? So I don't know if she's gonna show up, so I may just have to do this solo dolo. How do I do this? Share screen. Okay. But yeah, in the meantime, I guess we're just going to get into the first movie, which is Carrie, right?
In 1981, where the dude when you were looking next at your neck, no. You were gonna be a problem. No. Like, what about him do you not like or not like, and how do you define horror movies?
She's here. Hey, welcome. Oh God.
Totally.
Yeah, how's it going?
I'm good.
All right. So we talked. You're a huge Stephen King fan.
Yes, indeed. I have been since I'm sure most people discover him probably in their early teens. Same for me. And
Right.
I've read some books, not all. It's too many books. It's too many.
Yeah, and he is kind of crazy when it comes to books. He's like, he just writes like a book a year. It seems like almost 2 books a year. It's insane that his yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm getting caught up in the chat.
It's fine. His ever-expanding bibliography is impressive, but delusional if you want to try to get through it all, considering some of those are tomes. I was going to bring my copy of It in here, but I'm so frail. If I try to pick it up,
I already got it for you.
Dislocate, and I'm just left stranded.
Seriously, my cat's sitting next to me right now. I feel like if I just even laid it on her head right now, she may pass away. Seriously, this book is like
it's
20 pounds.
Massive.
Yeah. Cool photo of Stephen King too. He's like a musician, I guess. Yeah.
He's the rock and roll star of horror literature.
Hey, you want to know a fun fact I heard? You know what the origin of the title The Shining was?
No.
He's a huge John Lennon fan, and one of his songs has that, like, "We are all shining," something like that. So that was the inspiration. So,
that's cool.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of his inspiration comes from rock and roll music.
I can see that, given, well, I'm sure we'll talk about Maximum Overdrive.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. That was his drugged out phase for sure. But yeah, let's get into this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to share this tab. Let's see. Select window, entire screen. Yeah, whatever. That works.
Well, we've gone recursive.
Oh, sorry. All right. So you see what we're working with here, right?
Yes, we can all say.
All right. We got the tier list here.
Real quick question before we start. Are we ranking based on like quality or enjoyment? Because those are very different with these movies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What is going to be the factors that are included in here? I would go personal enjoyment and also how well made it is.
Okay.
So I mean, as we're going through these, something like Desperation, by the way, I'm just calling that out. Like, it's not a well-made movie, but is it fun to watch? It may, sneak up in the rankings just because its enjoyment is higher. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with the first one, Carrie. I mean, Sissy Spacek, Brian De Palma,
John Travolta and Nancy Allen, the greatest American
right.
hero, whose name I don't know, but that's who he is as a person.
I mean, this movie is an all-time banger. It's got to go.
I
It's
mean,
either A or S. If
I
it's
would
anything
put it in
lesser,
I
you're
would
out
put
of
it
your
in
mind.
S tier because not only is it iconic in and of itself, but, like, it changed the landscape of horror. Have you heard how many, like, directors in the '80s talk about how they added a jump scare at the end of their movie just because Carrie had one?
Yeah,
It's
good point.
so iconic. It's a
Yeah.
monstrous feminine, good for her, revenge story of the ages.
Hmm. And I don't see the remake on here, so I guess we should probably talk about that a little bit. But did you ever check out that
So I've seen the
2014
'90s, like,
remake?
TV one, which I really liked, and then I think
Yeah,
was it 2011 maybe with Chloe Grace Moretz and Julianne Moore? It's no the original, it's fine.
I think it's got who's that guy who's played Baby Driver? He was in that too.
Oh, he has an
I
odd
think he
name,
played.
like Ansel Elgort or something?
That's it. Yeah, the not the Perks of a Wallflower, but the what's the movie about him having cancer? Um,
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
God. Anyway, so yeah, I think he was playing the Travolta role. But don't you think the main issue with that movie is that she, I mean, she's too cute to play
See,
Carrie.
I hear that a lot, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how cute you are, you can be bullied if you're poor, and that's the true moral of this story. Anyone can get bullied, and then they reach puberty. I was rephrasing that in my mind. Then they get puberty, they get powerful, and they set the prom on fire.
That's true. I just think Sissy Spacek was so perfect casting for that role because she's a classic everyday female woman, girl next door going through puberty. You know, she's not traditionally beautiful, but she's also not super ugly. She's just like an everyday person.
She does like
She's
the quiet, like introverted, kind of mousy character better than Chloe Grace Moretz. Although the girl in the '90s version also did it quite well.
yeah, yeah, and it's been a while since I saw that TV remake. I do like the Rage, Carrie 2, the Rage though.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie kicks ass. So I think we can both agree on S
That's right
for
with
that.
it.
Okay. Well,
And
you're
it's
gonna
one of the
be
rare ones that has a good ending.
yeah, and you're right about that final jump scare because that was not a thing back in the day, and it kind of pioneered that whole idea of like leave them, you know, with a final scare. Uh, so, Lego, you're going to be in charge of the chat since I can't see it. So,
Oh gosh, actually, I have to put on my glasses in.
all right. So we got the carry under wraps, and we're going to be speed running this, keeping it under 2 hours. The next one is The Shining. So, yeah.
Okay,
I
so
I wish I had the mini series on here from the 90s because that would definitely be S tier, right?
I love that. It's so good. This movie, man, it's one of those ones where it's almost style over substance. Like Kubrick is so good at just all the technical things involved in making a film, and he had a great cast, of course. But the
Right.
story's just not phenomenal because he just diverted so much.
Oh, for real? You're shitting on The Shining?
I'm not, well, the story, yes. You know what? He could have had someone brush up the script a little. I'm
Wow.
just saying, I think
No.
Shelley Duvall doesn't get the credit she deserves. And no one ever talks about Scatman Crothers, who might have the best name in the history of names.
Oh, most definitely. I think Shelley Duvall gets enough credit these days.
Everyone always talks about Jack Nicholson. We get it, but he's the problem. The story's supposed to be about the slow descent into madness because of alcoholism, but Jack Nicholson starts off terrifying and ends terrifying.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, if his acting performance isn't good, like if his character doesn't work, the movie doesn't work. And that's where I think that mini series from the 90s really lacks, because I'm not feeling that dude's performance.
Oh, come on. Steven Weber was giving it his all. And I do think the little kid in the TV series is much less annoying than the little kid in Stanley Kubrick's.
I like Danny. Whatever that guy's name is.
Oh, I have no idea what his name is. I don't know if he was even in anything else.
It's been a while since I saw that miniseries. Does the kid do the little like, I'm not talking to you, Danny?
I don't remember.
But I know it
he
was
was more
way
palatable.
more.
Like he had more awareness. I think maybe he's a little older.
Yeah. And I know it was obviously way more accurate to the book, which I appreciate. I mean, that's cool. But sometimes you just got to let directors cook a little, let them have their own vision.
Oh, I mean, I think it's one of the best movies ever made. I'm just saying he could have had a little help with the script. And other people seem to agree. All right, see? Ash D agrees. Shelley's getting all that credit a little too late.
Okay. All right, let's move on to... Oh, sorry, we should rank it. Let's see. I mean, to me, it's S.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It's all-time iconic. You can't deny like how important that movie is to the genre. It's just a very powerful movie. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Yeah, the next movie is Cujo. Now, here's a good trivia question for you. Do you know what breed of dog Cujo is?
St. Bernard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was a trivia question that came up last Halloween, and it stumped a lot of people.
Really?
But, yeah.
Oh, that's tragic.
They all thought it was a German Shepherd.
No, not even close. But they did have to, I think maybe they did kind of disguise some of the dogs. And I know they had to tie their tails because they kept wagging them too much because the trainers were like squeaking toys and stuff to get them to like attack the car.
Yeah.
They're much too happy of a dog.
For sure. I love this movie. I love the book. It's just a simple story about just really a mother and son and closed in, and it's almost kind of like a home invasion movie, but with a killer animal.
Oh yeah, I never thought about it like that. Definitely.
Yeah, a personal movie and great performances from, what's her name? Dee Wallace, right?
Dee Wallace, yeah.
Yeah, she's great. The kid's great. I mean, the dogs are
great. Always got to compliment the dogs.
Definitely.
The moral of the story is get your dog a rabies shot.
For sure. Are you a dog person? Do you have a dog?
Yeah, definitely. And did I try to get a St. Bernard as a child because of this movie? Perhaps. Okay. Maybe it was a little bit more because of Beethoven, but neither here nor there.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's a really beautiful film. I do like that it has a happier ending in the book.
Yeah,
I don't think I would like the movie as much.
Yeah, because at the end of the book, I didn't reread the book for this live stream, but the ending of the book like ends with... Does it end with the mother dying?
The kid died.
The kid died, right? Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good idea to change that.
Like that change.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as big of a hit if you killed a kid off like that. Jeez.
Definitely not. And you got to appreciate the director for working with dogs and a kid.
Well, isn't that what famous directors say? Like working with animals is
Never
one of
work
the,
with dogs and kids, I think, is the rule of thumb.
and he worked with both.
Yes.
So, yeah, kudos to him. This is in between S and A with me. I
I'd
don't
go
know.
A.
So would we say like A is awesome and S is just like supreme?
Superb. Supreme. Supreme's a good
Su-
word.
yeah, superb. And B is like bleh.
Beh.
And
The land tier into it.
B is kind of
Could be better.
eh, eh. And then C is like, oof, yeah, it's not that good. And then D is like, yikes, bro.
Okay. That works.
All right, I'm just trying to break down the rankings. So, yeah, let's put Cujo in A. Let's give it awesome. Although this list that I have, there's no way it's chronologically because wasn't Salem's Lot in the 70s?
Salem Lot was 79.
Okay, well, let's do that next.
Okay.
I love this TV movie. I think it's great. The only issue I have with it, and I just recently rewatched it, is I think David Soul kind of sucks at acting.
Which character does he play?
He's the main character.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy from Starsky and Hutch. So he's playing
The character Rob Lowe plays in 2004.
he's the writer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our main protagonist of the movie.
Yeah, he's
I
not engaging.
Exactly. And you could tell this dude just is a TV actor. You know, he's
It's
he's
a TV
acting for
movie.
this. Yeah, but they shot it on film, right?
Well, that's all they had back then, isn't it?
I
79?
guess. Yeah. But like he's surrounded by other actors that just really outshine him, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, so
I still don't know how they did the effect with the eyes to get them to kind of glow like that, but it is really amazing looking. I don't know. I haven't read the book, so I don't think though that in the book that the Barlow character is supposed to be like a Nosferatu-esque vampire. So I don't know why they decided to go that route. And there's some
I
of
mean
it that
it's
comes off a little TV movie, but overall, I think it's a very good adaptation of this vampire story. But it's very late 70s and it shows.
super dated for sure. And that's why I kind of like the remake even a little bit more
It's got
because
Rutger Hauer. Come on.
yeah, Rucker Howard, Donald Sutherland. But the original movie does do a really good job of introducing all these side characters because that's what Stephen King's all about, like introducing these like little tertiary characters in this small town, this sleepy small town in Maine. And the movie does a good job of explaining all of their little affairs. You know, like one guy's cheating on his wife, and we get to know a little bit about that side story. And yeah, I don't know. And it culminates. I know they were definitely ripping off Nosferatu with
Yeah.
Barlow, but it works to me. I mean,
Yeah, I think it works really well. I also like the 2004 version a little more, but at least it's not Return to Salem's Lot.
yeah, which is not even worth mentioning, to be honest. So what do you think? An A?
A or B? A's fine.
Yeah. All right. What does Ash think? Let's see. Again, I
It's
can't see
on
the
their
chat,
watch
so
list. They'll check
oh,
it out.
okay. All right, we'll put it in A for now. Subject to change with chat's opinions. Let's move on to Children of the Corn.
Nightmare Fuel.
This is another one that's, to me, a cool concept. And I think this movie peaks like 5 minutes in and then never really reestablishes like how cool it is for the rest of the movie. I do like, Malachi and Isaac or whatever. Like all those. Who's that redheaded kid who's kind of creepy looking?
Malachi.
Yeah, Malachi. Outlander, right?
Yes. We've got your woman, Outlander.
Outlander.
Really wanting to be the Warriors.
And it's got what's her face from
Linda Hamilton.
Terminator. Yeah, Linda Hamilton.
Listen, man, these kids are terrifying. Cornfield are terrifying. It's a whole lot of no for me. And the fun part is the adults actually get to kill some of the kids, which is just annoying to watch.
For real.
But it's, Children of the Corn, it's no Urban Harvest. It's no Final Sacrifice. It's no Fields of Terror. It's not even The Gathering.
No, not at all. Did you watch that crappy remake they came out with a couple years ago?
I've seen all 11 of these.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was an interesting weekend that I spent. And I don't know, evil religious kids, they're entertaining. I like them.
But I like Urban Harvest.
Urban Harvest is definitely my favorite. Number 3 is the best in the franchise, and I'll stand by that.
Most definitely, yeah. That's the one when, it's like suburban parents adopt the kids from the corn.
Yep.
It's like you have no idea what you're getting your hands filled with. So where do we put this thing here?
I mean, I'd go B.
Yeah. Okay. I'm down with that.
I'm fine with it being lower. It's just I think at the end for me is where it drops the ball.
With the stalk getting burned down, right?
Yeah, with the phenomenal effects.
All right, next we're going to talk about Firestarter. Not the Zac Efron one, which is not on this list. But yeah, we're talking about the OG one with Drew Barrymore. You want to talk about this one?
Man, Drew Barrymore is so talented. What's the guy's name? David Keith, I think.
Yeah,
he does a really, really good job of
not Keith David.
Yes, different person. Very different. Swap those names around. He does a really, really good job of just being perpetually in a migraine and having very poofy hair. I mean, assignment fulfilled. George C. Scott, though, is so evil and manipulative in that movie. It definitely is. It really propels the story. I think it's a really good story, very well told. I really like it.
I think it's one of those that the movie is actually better than the book. I don't know. Have you ever read the book?
I've not read Fire, so I don't know.
Okay. It's a really simple kind of just generic told story about it. Like the idea and the concept is cool, but I really think the movie elevates it to really goes from like this is what it is and like I'm gonna make it way better through showcasing like good performances and good effects and like what you're saying, like all the performances in the movie are really tremendous. Really elevates it to another level.
Yeah. So the guy who directed this, Mark Lester, also did Commando. And the whole time I was watching this, I'm thinking like I could totally see Alyssa Milano and Arnold Schwarzenegger just like this is just a continuation of their story.
Is that guy's whole thing? He just does like an old guy and like a young girl.
Apparently, I don't know what else he's directed, just those two things. I'm sure he's done more. That's just all I know him for.
Surprised he didn't do what's the one with Denzel and Dakota Johnson, like
Oh, I don't know.
Man on Fire or something.
Yeah, that is certainly a movie he's in. Not one I've seen though. I'm real hit and miss when it comes to movies that aren't horror or action.
Man on Fire is definitely what I'm talking about. All right, so let's put this in the B, if that's cool with you.
Yeah. I'd put it above Children of the Corn though.
It's almost like I wish there was a subcategory right in between these two, but yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got Stand By Me next. I mean,
So this is one of my all-time favorite films. I think it's an absolute perfect coming of age movie. Perfect cast. The dialogue is so like authentically juvenile. The Richard Dreyfuss narration is worth the watch alone. The
yeah.
soundtrack is perfect. Like I think it's just from beginning to end, zero notes for me on this movie. I think it's just 10 out of 10. It's just a perfect, simple film about like what it is to grow up.
Could you connect with it being a female growing up? Because I always related to it. Because this is how like me and my buddies talked like when we were around that age. But you growing up being a woman, like does
Dialogue, not as much. Also didn't grow up with the Mickey Mouse Club, though. You know,
yeah.
I was curious about it after the film, but I
You
did start whenever anyone told me to shut up. I would say to them, "I don't shut up, I grow up," and when I look at you, I throw up for like
Yeah.
years after watching that. Yeah, I definitely I think most kids could probably relate to like one of the characters or another or different facets of a few of them. I was definitely the klutzy kid who would probably forget to bring the food and bring a comb. Definitely me.
Oh, you were the Vern?
Totally. I was Vern.
No way.
Yeah. Although I probably would tell cool stories, so maybe a little bit of a blend between Jerry O'Connell and Will Wheaton's character. But also
And
from the wrong side of the tracks with the big, sad family. Yeah.
And I definitely had a friend like that growing up that was kind of a Chris Chambers type who was a really smart guy that was kind of edgy, but like kind of grew up in a bad neighborhood. And it's like, you want to get this guy out of the hood, basically. But I think this is a good example of a better movie than what Stephen King actually wrote. And I think Stephen King would even put that, like he would say it himself, like, yeah, the movie's way better than my actual story.
I think he has said it's one of the best adaptations of his work.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. So that's a clear S. And I know we're taking a while with some of these. I know once we get into some of these bad ones, we're going to speed run it. So bear with us. Man, I don't know what this list is. Should we get into Creepshow?
Okay, sure.
I mean, George Romero is my favorite director of all time. So this is an immediate S for me. I adore this movie. I think it's incredible. Like totally real. Like I've probably seen this movie over 40 times in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of this, but what do you
I
think?
mean, you got the trifecta of Stephen King, George Romero, and Tom Savini.
Yep.
It's just so perfectly done. The stylization is absolutely on point. I love something that's stylized like a comic book. The lighting is out of this world. Yeah, I don't generally like anthologies. It's not my favorite thing. But this one's definitely one that's completely worth watching. Totally still holds up. Like it looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah. They really brought that comic book aesthetic to it with the lighting. And I think the director of photography who ended up directing the second movie, Michael Gornick is his name.
Hmm.
He crushed the cinematography with all those crazy lights in the background, and yeah, it just really set the vibe of a comic book movie correctly. So,
Definitely.
do you have a favorite segment in this movie?
Mine would probably be. I think I would go with Jody Verrill. The Lonely Death of Jody Verrill. Jordy?
Yeah,
Jordy.
Jordy Verrill. Yeah,
Mhm.
the one with Stephen King
Yeah.
starring in it. You
Something about a man
lunkhead,
turning into a.
Jordy. You just feel so bad for him.
Yeah. But
Uh,
Fluffy from the crate. Oh man, Fluffy looks so cool.
yeah, yeah. The Cray is great too. That's got Adrienne Barbeau in there, just being such a B word. Uh, she is playing the biggest bitch of all time. let's put it honestly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. Creep Show for me is an S, but if you had quarrels with that, we could maybe argue about it. But I'm gonna put it at S
I'm fine with this.
if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. That's Creep Show 2. All right, we might as well talk about Creep Show 2 since we're at it. Now
So
this one,
disappointed it didn't go as stylized into the comic stuff. They should have done that.
yeah, that's another thing that I want to mention because so yeah, you have the director of photography from the first movie. Like Romero was hands off on this one. I think he just wrote the script, and I think Stephen King wrote the stories for this one.
I think so.
And yeah, it doesn't have that cool color palette like comic book vibe that the first one does. I will say growing up, I loved the segment The Raft, and then I
Yeah.
rewatched it for a while for the first time, and it's probably been like over 10 years. And oof, that does not age very well. Some of those characters, some of the decisions being made, yikes. Um,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, I think
yeah,
this one, it's definitely not up to par with the first one. And watching these, I don't know, like the Hitcher, I don't know, it's fine. The or Old Chief Woodenhead, not the best story, but the makeup is so great. Like I could look at that makeup that they did. I don't even know who did it. Was it K&B probably? It looks so great.
was it not Savini?
I don't think it was.
Well, he played the creep in the wraparound, right?
Yes.
Where he was like, ugh, towards the end. He's wearing the costume, like
Yeah.
in the back of that truck. Um, but yeah, you're probably right. It probably was like Kurtzman or something. Um, but yeah, uh, it's one of those things that I just grew up watching it, so I love it. But it's I bet if I watch it now, in my early 30s, I'd be like, dude, this is bad. Especially watching like old Chief Woodenhead. Some of
Yeah.
that acting is so campy.
So the narrator, I think his name is Joe Silver, impeccable. That guy has a great voice.
Yeah. Oh, the raft. And he's got that good. Yeah, good narration, boys. Where would you put this one?
I'd probably put it. I'd probably with B or C.
Yeah. Thanks for the ride, lady. Ugh, that hurts, but it is what it is. Okay. This is going very well so far. Let's talk about Pet Cemetery. I'm just running through some bangers here.
Oh man, I mean Fred Gwynn. Come on, this movie rocks so hard. This and the sequel. I'm so
Yeah.
glad to have like female director. And this movie is honestly one of the very few movies I find legitimately chilling, because you got Fred Gwynn is the bad guy and you don't even realize it till it's too late and you're going up and burying your loved ones in the wrong place.
Explain that a little bit more to me.
So I this is how I think the movie is supposed to go, because the book is definitely a little different. So you have the dead kid. I think his name is Pascal, Victor Pascal. And you have Fred Gwynn, and they're supposed to be like the angel and the devil on the main character Lewis's shoulders. So
Yep.
Fred Gwynn, he keeps saying, "Don't do this," but also let me give you a detailed instruction and lead you up to the place where you can do the bad thing I'm telling you definitely don't do, but definitely do. And then you have the ghost, Victor, who's like, "No, actually, definitely don't do this." So he's the angel, and Fred Gwynn is supposed to be like the devil, kind of luring him into doing like resurrecting people in the pet cemetery.
Oh, you don't want to go down that road. You go there. There's a story about it. I'll tell you about it sometime. Can you do a Fred Gwynn impersonation?
Oh, yeah, I don't do impersonations. I'm just here for the random facts. Deep-seated analysis. Also,
Oh, wow.
what's his name?
That's too bad.
Nico Hughes is just the creepiest little kid. I applaud him. Gage is terrifying. Gage is absolutely disturbing.
Yeah.
Scariest child I've seen in a movie.
I don't see the remake on here. You want to talk about that just for 2 seconds?
So the remake, I don't know if that's closer or further from the book. I definitely understand wanting to make changes to differentiate it between the 89 movie, which is so good. I forgot the Ramones song at the end. Oh, perfection.
I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery, right?
Yeah. But the remake, I don't know, it's good actors. It's just when you have such a high standard, it's hard to deliver something that's on an equitable level to that, you know? It's just a little bit too difficult. They reached for the stars and they didn't quite make it. They fell down to earth, singed.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Just get rid of this and talk to the chat for a second.
Yeah, not looking like they like
the remake was terrible.
Or they like the remake.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Creepshow 3. I mean,
well
obviously that's S tier, obviously.
I don't. So I actually learned this recently that some people like Savini and I think Romero both considered Tales from the Dark Side to be Creepshow 3, because I think there was a rights issue that they couldn't call the TV show that, and the TV show was supposed to be an extension of Creepshow, so they called it Tales from the Dark Side. So when they made the movie, considering you had so many people who worked on both doing the same thing, it pretty much is that, just not a name. And Tales from the Dark Side is definitely better than the actual officially titled Creepshow 3.
Most definitely. I love Tales from the Dark Side. I think that's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, I mean, you got little Matthew Lawrence trying not to get eaten by a witch, played by
young
Debbie Harry, I believe.
Got Steve Buscemi in there.
With Christian
Christian,
Slater. Yeah.
hell yeah.
That mummy makeup, that one definitely is K&B. That mummy makeup looks so great.
All right. Let's see. So we will put Pet Cemetery in which tier? You want to put it in A tier or S tier?
That's a hard one, man. I'd go. I guess I'd go. I guess I'd go A or S. I guess I'll go A.
Mm,
I mean,
it's
if you want
such
to go
a
S, I'm happy with S.
it's such a banger though. Yeah, I'm cool with that. We're very front heavy here. I feel like the rest of these are going to get lower and lower as we keep
What do you
talking.
mean? What do you mean? Are you saying you don't love Cell? Are you saying that's not an S tier film? It's not cinema?
I know. You're right. Uh, let's go Misery next. I think this is another good example of a better movie than a book. Because I recently reread the book and I found it kind of lacking. And I think not lacking, like the story is still compelling and interesting, but what really makes it scary and so good is Kathy Bates' performance. I mean, it's tremendous. Totally.
I didn't know saying cock-a-doodle car could be so menacing, but she definitely achieved that. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
terrifying. It's definitely something that only works if the acting works, and it absolutely does. It's a rare movie that I honestly hate watching every moment of it because it is so effective.
Right. It's not very rewatchable because it's so effective. It's so scary and tense the entire time you're watching it. It's like I've seen it. I've seen enough. What's that meme? It's like I've seen what I need to see.
I like the I'm taking off my glasses. I've seen too much.
If they were to remake this though, these days, who do you think would be good casting?
Ooh, who could just play just a sociopath, a lovable, unassuming sociopath? I don't know her name. I don't know if she still is. She was on SNL. I don't know if she still is, but she was recently in the Barbie movie.
She played the messed up Barbie.
No, not Kate McKinnon. I'd have to look her name up. She's brunette. Very bad with names here.
Okay. Well, maybe somebody in the chat will fill that out, but uh anyway. Yeah, while somebody fills that out, I
Aidy Bryant
guess
is her name.
what is it?
Aidy Bryant?
Aidy Bryant. Okay.
Or in the TV show Castle Rock. Oh man, I don't know who plays her, but there is someone who plays her. She does an impeccable job in Castle Rock. I think it's the second season. Like, totally brings the character to life. She's terrifying.
All right. Yeah, that's a show I never checked out. I probably should have before
I
this stream, but
mean, I'm not out here recommending it. I'm just saying she did a great job.
well, that was cool that they included all of the Stephen King sub characters into this small little sleepy town, right?
Yeah, they some of the characters carry over more so in the second season than the first season.
All right, what do you thinking for this one? I mean, James Caan getting his ankles busted by Kathy
I would
Bates.
say A. Yeah.
What's her whole thing? Like the penguin turns north or something like that. Like
I don't recall that.
It's like her little figurine that when he's messing around when she leaves the house, he goes and like messes, like walks around and tinkers with some of her things, and then she notices that he's been up and walking around. Whatever. Um,
You have a better memory for detail than I do.
let's go Christine next.
Oh man.
Yeah, you like this one?
So John Carpenter is my favorite director. I mean, the opening to this movie, you got what, a 1958 Plymouth in the most beautiful shade of red, killing a man to bad to the bone. It's so good. The lighting in this movie, the acting, the script is well, okay, the script's fine. But man, the car. I don't understand how you can make a car look so threatening and beautiful. And to do all that on a pretty limited budget. Like the technical skill and the decisions they had to make to do everything so they could make it work. So good. So good. Movie about a vampire car. Awesome.
Yeah, this movie's killer, totally. And Keith Gordon puts in like such a good performance, like really transformative. Like you really see the evolution of his character, starting off as this like scrawny, like little nerdy kind of square, and then being kind of like a Chad towards the end.
Oh yeah, he got a villain glow up.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's great, and you could tell you put a great story like this in the hands of a maestro like John Carpenter, and he's gonna. It's like giving a really good chef like simple ingredients, and then he just makes filet mignon or like a really good recipe, or a really good dish out of simple ingredients. So yeah, I'd definitely put this high up. This is definitely between A or S.
I mean,
Maybe
I go S.
Yeah.
Personally.
If not for the cool effects too, where it's like where the car like fixes itself. He's like, "Show me."
Oh man, such a great scene, and the score. John Carpenter can do a score.
Man. Yeah, that hypnotic kind of synth, man. I don't know what kind of drugs he was on, but whatever it was working. Let's see. What should I pick next? You want to pick?
Well, you're right by the dark half.
Okay. Yeah, let's do the dark half. This is a little bit more complicated because this is another Romero movie. It's my favorite director, and there's a lot of behind the scenes shit that was going on. A lot of drama with, I think, who's the main actor? I think
Timothy Hutton.
Timothy Hutton and Romero really did not get along during the making of this movie. They had a lot of disagreements about character decisions and acting performances and stuff. But I think it's just I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's perfectly fine. And Stephen King has another adaptation on this list that's almost the exact same thing, which I actually do prefer this one over that one. Timothy Hutton puts in a good performance. Michael Rooker's in it. Does he ever do anything wrong? No. But, it's, not the best story. And I wish, it's almost the same story as Malignant, but at least Malignant went real crazy with it. to make it more
Yeah,
interesting.
the idea behind the movie or the story has so much potential to be so good. Um, and this movie only reaches like mid peak potential. Like I just feel like it could be so much better, but it's cool. It's fine. Famously, Romero was going to help out Savini when he remade Night of the Living Dead in 1990, but he had to dip to go make the Dark Half instead. So it's like, oh.
That's, I don't know. Which would I have done?
I'd rather watch Night of the Living Dead 1990 than the Dark Half.
I mean, that movie does not get the credit it deserves. It's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Is it great? No, but it's definitely solid. It's okay.
For the Dark Half, I'd probably go C.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I feel bad putting Creepshow 2 at C, sitting next to the Dark Half.
Put it in a nice solid B, average rating.
Let's do that. All right. Let's go the Dead Zone. Why don't you take this one away?
Okay, so I have to admit, Cronenberg is not my favorite director. Christopher Walken's fine.
What's your favorite Cronenberg movie?
My favorite Cronenberg movie would definitely be Dead Ringers.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I keep watching his movies and thinking I'm definitely gonna like this, and I always come out like, you know what, good movie, just not my vibe.
The ice is breaking.
Christopher Walken was a choice. I probably would have, recast that. I think Christopher Walken would have made a good, whatever the name of the character Martin Sheen plays, like the slicked back politician guy. I think he would have been better in that role.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I did watch the TV show for a few seasons, and I like that a bit more. The film it's fine. It's slow. The ending is fine. I wish it was just the plot was a little better. I think the best moment is when he's actually going after the I think it's a serial killer, and let's just say I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's an incident where the serial killer does something with a pair of scissors. Definitely memorable.
And who played him in the TV show? Was that Jake Busey?
Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever.
I mean, kind of close.
Yeah. Close enough. The ice
a whole different vibe.
is going to go in C tier.
It's fair. It's fair.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't put it at D.
No, because I think I know some movies that are going there, and I don't think it deserves to get that low.
Yeah. Let's talk Pet Sematary 2, which is one of the most bananas, bonkers, crazy movies of all time. And I love it.
I love it.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad you're down with this movie.
So Clancy Brown's my favorite actor, and he's just having a blast.
Yeah. Just hamming it up, like real dinner theater acting. Just so good, though. Like, he knows exactly what the performance needs. Like, the energy he needs to give.
Sometimes you just have to help your friend bring their dead stepdad back to life. Sometimes you just have to do that.
You talking about Drew Buddy?
Yeah.
Listen to Drew Buddy. Let's see.
There's some sad moments in that movie. I don't know. That one just got me. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's cool. It's always cool seeing Eddie Furlong, pop up?
Yeah, he plays unhinged very well.
And I like seeing that dude from. I mean, I won't. Did you ever watch Salute Your Shorts growing up?
No.
Okay,
Is it a kid who's the bully?
that red-haired kid who is in Terminator 2 also.
Yeah, he's in like Big and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Was it? Yeah, he probably was. Yeah, it's just funny seeing him pop up in '90s weirdo movies. Um, let's see. Yeah, agreed. Ash. A lot of people. I mean, who doesn't? Anyway, all right. So where would you put that? You
Oh
think?
man, it's so hard. I mean,
You can't put it in S. Like it's amazing, but you cannot put that in S.
I mean, entertainment value, I'm going A.
All right, well, let's put it in there just for funsies.
Oh man, you're not gonna like what I have to say about Maximum Overdrive.
Well, let's save that one. All right, let's save it for a second. Let's go to Silver Bullet next. We were just talking about a great child actor, Eddie Furlong. Now let's go to Corey Haim.
And speaking of Gary Busey being the
Yeah.
drunk uncle, oh my god, yes.
Was this pre his like motorcycle accident?
I have absolutely no idea. It
'Cause
came
you
out in
know
85.
There was like a shift in his acting career where he was taken seriously and he was like actually a good actor, and then he got in that crazy accident, and then he just turned into like a buffoon.
Oh, I'd have to say
I think it was
probably has to be
pre.
before, because 85 is around the same time Lethal Weapon came out. He was definitely still doing more serious stuff then.
Oh yeah. Then he was still locked in for sure. But I love this movie. I think it's great.
Yeah,
Cool
like
werewolf movie.
Rob Bottin did the effects. He's also done the effects for The Howling. And The Howling in this movie are kind of similar in that they're doing werewolf stories so differently. Because up to this point, I mean, our main werewolf stories like the 1942 Lawrence Talbot werewolf, where it's like we're focused on the person who is the werewolf and the pathos that they're going down of they're this innocent monster. But with these movies, we get to be like the werewolf hunters. And we
Right.
get to have a more menacing character and villain be the werewolf, which I think his name is Everett McGill. It plays
The
the Reverend guy.
priest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's Big Ed
spoilers.
in Twin Peaks. Yeah. Dude, that dude is definitely terrifying.
Yeah. And his transformation in the movie is freaky as hell.
It's so good. Like you can definitely see Rob Bottin. He was still pretty young at this point. Like it's definitely over the like 4 years between The Howling and Silver Bullet, like really improved his skills, and I think he really wanted to show him off, and he did such a good job. Like the fact that we have the werewolf in like light, because most visual effect artists don't like any of their stuff in light; they like to be able to cover it with shadows.
Yeah.
The fact that we see this werewolf and the transformation so clearly is super impressive.
Well, who did the effects in American Werewolf in London?
Rick Baker.
Rick Baker. Okay. So do you think like Rob Bottin like saw that and he's just like,
So Rob Bottin actually was trained
hold
by
my
Rick
beer.
Baker. And Rick Baker was supposed to do the effects for The Howling, but he'd already promised Landis beforehand he would do American Werewolf in London. And since they were making them side by side, he kind of sent some of the people that he worked with off to do The Howling. So I think he'd actually worked with Rob Bottin a little bit on The Howling before going full time over to American Werewolf in London.
oh, So weird. He was working on The Howling and American Werewolf in London.
I think he'd come up with some like original sketch work and ideas. And I know for a lot of these guys, they'll like call each other up and like how do you do this? What do you do that? It's a very collaborative field.
All right. Mary F. Kill. Silver Bullet, American Werewolf in London, The Howling. You got to marry one, F1, kill one.
I mean, you gotta F the Howling because they're the sexier werewolves. That's just a fact. I think
True.
you gotta marry. You gotta marry American Werewolf in London, so you gotta
Yeah.
kill Silver Bullet.
I know. Unfortunately, you do. It's
He's
just
just a little
Victim.
too unhinged, and I don't know how I feel about the priesty guy. It's a little weird.
But hey, man, Corey Haim's got that cool ass little wheelchair.
Yeah, the like motorcycle.
Yeah, that thing kicks ass. I wanted one so bad when I watched that movie growing up. Does it go in B?
I mean,
It's like,
I'd go. I guess B. Yeah, that's fair.
all right, just because we love Gary Busey. Although I think he's kind of canceled these days. He's had some bad behavior at some conventions, I've heard.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Eh.
Let's go through. They have the Pet Cemetery remake on here.
Well,
Let's
I'm
just.
going. I mean, C or D. I mean, it's not bad. It's just exists.
It's a movie.
It is a movie.
Let's
We
put it in
apparently
there.
broken Ashty's heart putting a Silver Bullet in B.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, Ash. What's up, Jake? Love Silver Bullet. Definitely earns A or S. Huh. Well, that's the breaks, Ash. Sorry. Let's move on. You wanna do? I guess let's do The Running Man, which is a Richard Bachman book. You ever mess with any of Stephen King's like Richard Bachman stories?
I don't believe that I have.
Have you seen The Running Man?
I
Arnold movie?
have. I have. You know, it's Death Race 2000. It's
Yeah, it's just a fun actioner. Like
you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, you got Jesse Ventura.
yeah, playing yeah, and a lot of characters playing or a lot of actors playing weirdo. Like wasn't there a dude, was Jesse the Body like Mr. Freeze or something? Not Mr. No, Arnold Schwarzenegger became Mr. Freeze at some point, but wasn't there one guy who was like Sub-Zero or something like that?
I think now you're going Mortal Kombat. I don't recall that being the name.
But
It might have
all
been the
these
name.
people,
I just don't recall that.
yeah, I think he killed one of the guys. He's just like Sub-Zero. Now he's Plane Zero. Now whatever.
Yeah, that movie did have really bad puns. Oh man.
Tons of really cheesy one-liners. But that is kind of cool that Stephen King was like, you know what? I'm so famous. Like, let me do a pseudonym and see if my books are still as popular. And they kind of were.
It's a weird version of imposter syndrome.
Imagine being like that famous that you're like, I kind of want to just do my own thing, but also like put it under a different name and see how that rolls. All right. Let's see. I'm waiting on Maximum Overdrive. I know you have a lot to say about that one. What's the one that I watched last night that was terrible? Oh, yeah, A Good Marriage.
I'll leave that up to you. I did not watch that one.
So I watched this incredible movie last night on Tubi, and yeah, it's it's words cannot describe how incredible it was. It's basically about this marriage that seems fine and great on the surface level, but obviously there's like some drama and some shit going on beneath the surface. So there's some murder, like, and some affairs, and somebody gets killed. I won't spoil it, but it's dreadful and one of maybe the worst movies I've seen in the last 5 years.
Oh, wow. Yikes.
Yep. Sorry. If you're a big fan of that movie, please leave a comment defending it. If you want to get invited onto the live stream, I'll send you the link. Let's go. 1408. You like John Cusack?
I do. I'm a John Cusack fan, but there's roles that are right for him and roles that aren't. I think this one really works.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a haunted hotel room. I think it's a good portrayal of someone kind of losing their mind. I love the way they did the ghosts. The scene with his daughter is absolutely heartbreaking and very effective. Yeah, I think it's a movie that really works for me. It's not the best movie in the world, but it definitely is something I've seen a couple times and would watch again. Like it's well made.
For sure. It's got some great jump scares in there too. Like when he's looking out the window and he sees like himself like waving
Oh
back
yeah,
at
that was
him.
a really great moment.
Yeah, and John Cusack plays that everyday kind of alcoholic, like bozo type of, or he's not, I don't know, but he's basically playing Stephen King, right?
I mean, a lot of these characters are basically playing Stephen King.
Yeah.
Like, how many alcoholic writers can you have in your stories before it becomes a little obvious that they're a stand-in?
Yeah. True. And his whole thing is like he's a non-believer in paranormal shit, and then he's like, I've been to tons of haunted places and never seen actual stuff, and then he like lands in this hotel and it's like, oh shit, like this is actually going down. So I think the movie's effective. It's cool. It's creepy. Samuel Jackson's good. This is a good movie.
Yeah.
I put it in B.
Yeah, totally agree.
You want to go Secret Window?
I don't know well, I mean, you want to talk about alcoholic writer stand-in character. There we go. Introducing
You stole my story.
this story with Johnny Depp and John. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Toretto? I don't think that's right. And Timothy Hutton again. It's pretty much the same thing as the Dark Half, but less interesting and atmospheric, and with less birds, though with more corn.
Yeah.
Psychological thriller, and people are doing accents that I wish they weren't.
I will say, talking to my girlfriend, and she said that this is peak Johnny Depp attractiveness in Secret Window. Like whatever his hairstyle or whatever vibe he was giving off, that was peak Johnny Depp.
I'll have to agree to disagree on that one. It's clearly 21 Jump Street. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm like the only person on the planet who will defend 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, you're on your own island on that one for sure. I could see some people maybe being down with like What's Eating Gilbert Grape or something like that. But
I think I might be the only person on the planet who's just never been a fan of his. Just, I mean, I definitely like some movies he's in for sure, but it's not my favorite actor.
he's good in this movie, and the movie is mysterious and thrilling, and it's a cool like little bender, like mind bender. Like it's a fun little.
The acting works.
Yes.
It's a psychological thriller, and it's definitely, it only works if the chemistry between the actors is effective, and I do think it is. It is a little bit of a confusing movie. I'm seeing in chat someone said, Ash D said that they had to watch it a few times because it was confusing. I don't know. Like it's a fine movie, but that's just for me not something I'd rush to watch again. I'd watch definitely a lot more of these films before I got to that one. I think it's a C. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I
Not
think I'm
bad,
with
that's
you on
not
that one.
great.
Right. Let's go through quickly a couple of these. Hearts of Atlantis. It's a
Never saw
drama.
it.
Okay, that's a heavy drama, well acted, well performed from Anthony Hopkins. It's about a elderly person dealing with insomnia, I believe, or just dealing with old age, and that's the thing about Stephen King. Like he, you mentioned that you had issues with his writing style. Like there's a chapter in the book that is literally just a character walking up to open up a door, and it's 40 pages long. And just like all of like the things he notices on the wall, like all of his subtle nuances and stuff. It's like, can you just get to the fucking point, bro? Like, just open the door.
He cannot. Never has. That's one thing he can and will not do.
I mean, this movie is probably a B, I guess. I think it got nominated for some Oscars too. But
wow, I'm surprised I've never heard of it.
It's a good one. It's up there with like Dolores Claiborne. Is that on here too? Yeah. I put that in the same category of like a heavy drama that's
definitely
very well acted. Cat's Eye. You watch that one?
Yeah. Again, I'm not a big fan of anthologies, but The Cat was cool and saved the day. Way to go, Cat.
You know what the best segment of that movie is, though? The one with James Woods where he has to quit smoking.
I mean, oh man, that's so intense. Like that's like the definition of fridging your family.
Yeah, but that's such a cool concept.
It's definitely
it's like
creepy.
We're gonna force you to quit smoking, like whether or not, like we may have to kill you. Like by the end of the day, you're gonna.
No, it's not about killing him. It's about torturing his family. Like the wives get so messed up in this.
It's almost like, do you ever see The Game? That David Fincher movie?
No.
Game? Oh, okay. With Michael Douglas. Yeah, it's a good movie. But that's another similar concept where he like signs up for a program thinking it's going to be like all shenanigans, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, like, people are following me around and taking this for real. But yeah, I like Cat's Eye. It's fun. I put it in B.
That's fair.
You want to? I guess we'll just knock off these dramas. You want to go Green Mile too?
Green Mile. Green Mile and Shawshank, both directed by the same guy. Frank Darabont, as is The Mist. All three of those movies are just phenomenally cast, phenomenally acted, look great. They work. I mean, some of those are very depressing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, The Shawshank is the only one that has a uplifting ending. The Mist, and we'll probably go a little bit deeper because I mean, everything about The Mist is like perfect. The music, the atmosphere, the look. If you ever get a chance to watch in black and white, totally recommend. It's fantastic. I think that's how he actually wanted it to
That's the
come
way
out.
to watch it for sure.
Yeah. But The Green Mile, so tragic. I mean, there's a little bit of a comeuppance, but ultimately just really sad, beautiful film. Like all three of those are just perfect movies to me.
Yep. Yeah, and The Green Mile. Also Clancy Brown, right?
Yes. Or no, he's in Shawshank.
Oh, God. Okay. Sorry. Got that. Prison
I mean,
movies
they're
mixed
pretty
up.
similar. They're both set in. Is Green Mile set in Shawshank? Or a different prison? Can't recall.
I don't know. My boy Dallas said Green Mile is easy S.
Yeah, I
probably.
agree.
And the fact that Michael Clark Duncan didn't win best best actor or best supporting, whatever, is a crime against humanity. Seriously, that is such a good performance.
I mean, he carries the movie in such a stacked cast. It all hinges on him, and he does it perfectly.
You know, isn't Sam Rockwell in The Green Mile?
Yes, he is.
He plays another like sleazy prisoner or something like
He
that.
plays a very sleazy prisoner.
All right, so is Shawshank in this list here somewhere?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. You give that an S, right?
100%, yes.
My friend Andy Dufresne.
I mean, Morgan Freeman narration alone.
I wish I'd be sitting on the beach with my friend Andy Dufresne. Let's see. What's the other one that I put up here? App Pupil. Where's that? Yep. I give that like an A too. That's another. Do you know anything about App Pupil?
That movie, I feel like that movie's very uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to talk about it a little bit?
Very like it's a psychological thriller, and it's pitting the performance of Ian McKellen and I don't know, the kid from Client. I don't know what his name is. It's a bit of a weird film. I think especially if you're familiar with the background, it's a little uncomfortable material. Definitely not something I'd watch again. But I mean, it's good and it works.
Right. Okay, because I was just immediately going to put it in A tier, but
I mean, that's totally cool. It works.
well, I don't make the decisions. You want to put it in B?
Yeah, I'd go B.
Okay, let's put it
That's
in
just
B
one
then.
that's kind of like hard to judge because it's like it's good, but it's also I place a lot of value on rewatchability.
Yeah, you're right. That movie has like almost zero rewatchability for real. Let's talk about Thinner. That's a fun book, fun movie.
It,
You know, originally Stephen King wanted John Candy to play this main role. And
I
don't
don't
you
know
think
what
the
that's.
movie would have been so different if he
See,
played?
it's impossible to dislike John Candy, I think.
Yeah, totally.
And I kind of feel like you need to dislike the protagonist in this film. Like he's
He's
not a
a
likable guy.
scumbag. Yeah.
Yes, I just don't think that would have worked.
I feel like John Candy could have put off like playing a sleazeball.
I don't know. He's just such a lovable guy.
The
I don't
thing
know what
is,
that was.
he has to eventually be skinny. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna add that in. I'm like, I don't necessarily know if that's like a nice. I don't know what the right way to go with that role is. That's I'm going hands off on that one. But the gentleman is wearing a suit to make himself look heavier, and then make it later on to make him look gaunt.
right? He's wearing a fat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't. I mean, sometimes it looks good, and sometimes it really doesn't.
No,
I
it's
think it's a
not very
little.
convincing.
It looks a little better than the gentleman who curses him, who just looks real nasty. They look like he went through a sewer with many diseases.
Right. And who's the people that give him a curse? Because I
I
know
think
these are
it's
cancelable words, but they're
I
in
think
the
it's just supposed to
book.
be
Are they
like native people.
gypsies?
I guess they were.
Something like
Some of
that?
them work at a fair or a carnival, like a
Yes.
fair.
Something crazy like that. But
Yeah, the movie
who?
is pretty wild. And then he
uh,
gets rid of a curse by putting it in a pie.
Yeah,
I guess pies do cure everything.
I guess so. What's your favorite pie?
Ooh.
I like any kind of peanut butter, like cheesecake pie or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. I was gonna say I don't know if I've had peanut butter.
Pumpkin pie. It's pretty good.
I've made like an apple butter pumpkin pie with a cookie dough crust. It's pretty good.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. All right. Yeah, well, let's put dinner in. Is it C or D?
I'd go. I guess I go D. It's
You
not
hate
that
to
good.
say
I
it.
think it's better as a book. It's
Who's the
better
guy who
without the
plays?
visual.
Yeah. Who's the guy who plays the detective in that? Is that Chaz Palminteri or whatever?
You pulled out a name, and I did not. I don't recall.
He's one of those like, oh, I know that guy, but you don't know his actual name.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
We got Graveyard Shift in here. I'm assuming they're talking about the movie about rats.
Yes, the rodents of unusual sizes.
Yeah.
Very, it's a very
I
sweaty movie.
Yes. And it's got the guy who played Rhodes from Day of the Dead. He's in there. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Joe Pilato. I think that's the name of that actor. But yeah, it's a very sweaty, greasy, gross, sleazy movie.
Yes, Brad Dourif is in it. I remember that. And a guy who looks like Fred Ward, but who definitely is not Fred Ward.
Brad Dourif is in another one of these too, coming up.
I mean,
Graveyard Shift is kind of fun.
it's fun. The rodent looks good. Mm, it's like
See,
discount They Live though.
discount They Live.
I mean, it kind of wanted to be They Live. You got a guy,
Yeah.
you got that kind of like a twangy music that's kind of similar to They Live, and the guy's coming into town and he gets a job at this is like the same factory as the Mangler.
Right.
And it's they're just working this OSHA violation, hazardous place, and bad stuff happens. And the moral of the story is don't industrialize the fire swamp, guys, because the rodents of unusual size won't appreciate that.
Well, also reading the short story, it really harpens on how management should not treat like their regular employees. Like if you treat your employees like shit, then like, bad stuff's gonna happen. So it's kind of a good like this almost should have been just like a creep show segment.
Yeah, I think this just maybe goes a little bit too long. Like a
Yeah.
shorter version would be better.
Yeah. I'm down with C with that one.
I would agree with that.
And since we already talked about it, let's go with the Mangler. next. That's got Brad Dourif playing a unhinged, crazy exterminator.
Isn't that who he plays in Graveyard Shift? Is he in both? Am I completely mixing these movies up? I'll be honest. I kind of merged them.
Oh, he might be. Maybe
'Cause I think he's the exterminator in Graveyard Shift.
I think you're right. All right, sorry.
So, The Mangler is directed by Toby Hooper, and it has Ted Levine and Robert Englund. And Ted Levine, I don't know the name of the actor, but has a sidekick who looks like he should be in The Crow. He's just like crazy looking. That movie also is just very sweaty and working in an OSHA violation factory, and maybe goes on a little too long. Maybe would have been better as a short.
Yeah, maybe.
But Graveyard Shift and The Mangler are kind of the same movie.
Yeah, they're interlocked totally. Like it would honestly make a great double feature. But the two run together so, I mean, they're so linear. One's about a crazy washing machine that's killing people. Is that?
I mean, that's every washing machine. Let's be real.
And then Graveyard Shifts is about, killer rats. So definitely something when Stephen King was high off his ass doing copious amounts of cocaine.
Also, I wonder if he's ever worked like a job like this, because I get the feeling he has not.
No. Well, like, his whole upbringing, right? Or like
I
his
know
whole...
he was a teacher before he was a writer, but I don't think I know his like before he was a teacher.
But like his whole, like how he became famous, he was just, he was teaching in rural Maine, and then he wrote that book, Carrie, and then his wife like dug it out of the trash can. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, that I've heard that.
Yeah, and
weird thing to do though.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess support your partners. So
Indeed.
Sorry. So we'll put the Mangler. Where is the we'll put the Mangler on C. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right. We're getting into top 12 or top 15 here. Let's do Tales from the Dark Side, which we already talked about a little bit, which unofficial Creepshow 3.
It's fine. Like I said, mummy makeup, cool. Great actors in it. I kind of like the stories a bit more than Creepshow 2.
I like the one about the gargoyles.
Yeah, Lover's Vow.
Yep. And that's got the guy who plays Dexter's dad.
James Remar.
James Remar. Yep.
Raiden
He's always
from Mortal
solid.
Kombat Annihilation.
Look at you showing up with the facts. Yeah, that guy crushes it. The Mummy segment is fun. Like, this movie is just really schlocky, and I like the wraparound too with the kid getting put in like the soup.
Oh, but he got the witch. He didn't get the soup. He made the soup.
Yeah. Made the soup.
Don't you love a happy ending?
Where would you put this one?
A or B. Like, it really works for me.
I'll give it B.
Want to go ahead and do Quicksilver Highway? Sorry, since it's the other anthology.
Yeah, let's do Quicksilver. Take it away on this one.
Oh man, like, I just don't think Christopher Lloyd is intimidating, but they wanted him to be. It doesn't quite work. Doc Brown's just he can be scary.
Doc Brown's in this?
Yeah. He's the main like guy telling the stories. This is a little different. I think we have two stories. We have one with Stephen King and the other is Clive Barker. I think Both of them aren't great stories. I can see why they're shorts. They're just kind of silly fun. It's not great. And the whole thing is everyone keeps asking Christopher Lloyd, like, what's the moral of the story? And he's like, not every story has to have a moral point. I'm just a storyteller. The context is up to you, which I feel like is so lazy.
Oh my
It's like they're just
goodness.
kind of venting. I'd put it in C. It's fine. It's something I'd watch again. It's not very good.
So it's just a wraparound and 2 stories.
Yeah, but it's a little different in that the stories involve the characters in the wraparound.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of cool. God, Christopher Lloyd, what are you doing, bro? He must have needed some money to pay off like some mortgage payments or
He's
something.
eating that scenery up.
You want to talk about needful things?
Needful
Which
things.
is-
I mean, what happens when the devil moves into town and sets up a shop to give you all your dreams? The dreams go bad. The dreams go
And
very bad.
This is one that the book, or I don't know if it's, yeah, I think it's an actual book. It's not a novella, but the book is way better than the actual movie. But it's fine. It's kind of cool. I like Ed Harris. It's always
Max von
cool seeing.
Sydow was great.
Yeah. And the whole idea of a guy who gifts deeds or whatever, like he's almost like a wishmaster type character,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of cool concept. It's what do they call that? The like you get something, but there's
Karma?
always like no, like there's something like a monkey's paw
Yeah.
type
Oh,
of thing.
yeah. Wishes go bad, man. Wishes go bad.
Yeah. I'd put this in the B tier.
Yeah, I would put it in B as well.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Wrapping things up here, folks. And Ash is just coming in here with all these comments. Careful what you wish for sure. I mean, if you could Lego, if you could wish for anything right now, what would you wish for? Besides ending the stream right now.
Oh man, coffee. I would always wish for coffee. I have some supply of coffee.
That's a good one. Do you have a favorite brand of coffee?
I get these espresso beans called Lavazza. They're very good.
Oh, okay.
Taco Bell. I mean, I feel like that's definitely a wish that would go bad pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. That's a monkey's paw right there.
Almost instantaneously. What would you wish for?
Maybe. God, what would be a good wish? I'd want like a cool car. What's a cool car?
Oh,
I
you're
could
asking the
wish
wrong
for?
person. A 1958 Plymouth Fury.
There we
That might
go.
go bad.
You meet Christine right
I
now.
would love Christine. You telling me I get a flat tire? She'll just reinflate it herself?
Now I want that old guy that sells it to me too, wearing that creepy, gangly, like vest. She's like, her name's Christine. It's like, I like that. Let's see. Okay, let's move on. Okay. You want to talk about Gerald's game?
Listen, at the end of the day, they make the pink furry handcuffs for a reason, guys. You got to use the proper equipment. And that's definitely what I have to say about that one. You know, for me, it's not my favorite. Pretty dark subject matter. Mike Flanagan is a phenomenal director. All the actors in it are phenomenal. I definitely agree with Ash D. It's messy. It's messy.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you, but I kind of don't, because I love movies like this where they're really contained in a tight spot, like one location type movies. Like, I love this. This is my shit. And just being like this crazy scenario that's going on. Sorry, I guess the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, so congrats. I'm sure Taylor Swift is gonna have a great night. Anyway, I love movies that are like in tight corridors like this, and this movie really does a good job of making tense, suspenseful scenes out of just somebody in one room. Like, that's got to be hard to do as a filmmaker. So
Yeah,
kudos.
the performance is amazing on I definitely know her name, Gina something. Does a great job.
Yeah, Gina something. And that, like, Mike Flanagan always casts the same people.
Yeah.
In all of his movies. So she's been in a ton of his stuff. Yeah, she's really good. Gerald's Game is cool. The ending lost me a little bit, but where do you want to put this one?
I put it at a B or a C.
You think? All right, let's put it in C. I know some people might get mad. Let's put it in B. You want? All right. I know a lot of people are just like, "Good, Rob. This live stream is taking forever." I'm leaving some heavy hitters out of the way on purpose. Riding the Bullet. Oof. You seen this one?
Yeah.
Go
David
ahead.
Arquette is not intimidating. It's you know, it's a fine urban legend.
Well, give us a simple breakdown of the premise.
So, I think it's like 1969. It's a period piece, and this kid is going through some stuff, and he finds out his mom's sick, so he's trying to hitch a ride to go see her. Gets in the car with David Arquette. I forget that they kind of know each other from the past.
It's almost like the Hitcher, kind of.
Yeah, he's a hitcher. And then David Arquette's character is dead, and he kind of realizes that, and he has to make a decision whether or not. So David Arquette's character has to take someone back with him that night. Like, he has to kill someone. So either the kid can die, or he could sacrifice his mom. So he ends up having to make that kind of moral choice. Which I'm sorry, like, that, I know they're trying to make it seem like that's really tough, but like, man, no parent's gonna want you to like not sacrifice them.
Yeah.
Come on, that's dumb. It should have been like a sibling. I think that would have been, you know, more of a moral quandary. And I mean, I guess David Arquette does a good job of playing unhinged, but I think I would have preferred someone else in the role. Like a Nick Cage, I think would have been a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody with a little bit more depth to him. Like, I like David Arquette, but is he a good actor? I don't know.
He's great as Dewey.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of range there. You know what I'm saying? Like he can play that character great, but can he play like anything different? I don't know.
He's
Dude,
good
I
at playing
love
the kind of dopey guy.
like
And there are
Ready to Rumble.
a lot of those people.
Yeah, that's true.
And there are
I feel
definitely some
like
actors that make their entire career off of playing like one character. And they do it well though.
yeah. I feel like me and David Arquette would be fighting for the same roles if I were ever to try and be an actor. I could play those dopey roles, don't you think? All right.
I mean,
Just
you
leave
give
that.
good let's see.
All right, let's move on.
Serviceable performance. One thumb up.
Let's talk about Sleepwalkers. Have you seen Sleepwalkers? I haven't
Oh,
seen this
have I
movie in
seen
a minute.
Sleepwalkers?
Oh wow. Oh,
I
wait.
love this movie.
Hold on. Did I rank? What was?
Riding the Bullet. I mean, I put it
Yeah.
in D.
Really?
It's fine.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Sleepwalkers.
Dude, I love this movie. Mick Garris is a legend. Everyone in this movie is so famous. It's stupid. Like you have Ron, like for cameos, you have Ron Perlman, Stephen King, Toby Hooper, John Landis, Mark Hamill, Clive Barker, Joe Dante. Like everyone in this movie is someone you'd recognize. But it's about like a weird incest werecat family that's trying to
All right.
this woman's
This
trying
is
to
the
help get her
cat movie.
son get a girlfriend or something. I don't even know. Or she's jealous of the girlfriend. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. It's so unhinged. I think it's more unhinged than Maximum Overdrive, which is saying something.
For sure. And the whole thing is, are cats like a vessel as like aliens or something in this movie?
I
Is that-
couldn't begin to tell you. Because, like, they're some sort of feline thing, but actual cats hate them and they hate actual cats. I have
Oh,
no idea
okay.
what's going on.
God. Mick Garris is one of those interesting, and did he direct like Quicksilver? And he's directed a couple
He's
of these
directed
movies.
quite a few of these movies.
And for some reason, he's really tight with Stephen King. Like Stephen King and him are boys. Like those guys love each other. And his whole deal is when he makes an adaptation. Because didn't he make the Shining adaptation from the 90s?
And as well.
Oh, right. Which is not on here. Which I probably would have put at least in B.
I mean, I'd put it in A or B.
Yeah, maybe we can, after we get done with this tier ranking, we talk about the ones that were missed. But Mick Garris was very like keep it to the
Respect the source material.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, respect the source material, keep it very accurate. Like don't really do your own thing, which is clearly why him and Stephen King were boys. But yeah, Sleepwalkers. It's a crazy movie about killer cats. I know you're a fan of this. Do you want to throw it in B just for shits and giggles?
I mean, honestly, you could put it in any tier. Like, yeah, it's garbage, but I love trash. So rewatchability. I mean, you'll find something new every time.
Yeah, let's throw it in there just for funsies. Speaking of, let's talk about Desperation. Is that another Mick Garris joint?
I think so. I don't recall off the top of my head.
And I actually have the book here, the hardcover Desperation book by Richard Bachman. Cool thing about, this one was by Stephen King. the cool thing that he did was he wrote this book and then he wrote another book at the same time called, I actually have it over there, called The Regulators by Richard Bachman, and they released on the same day. And if you read both of the books, they're parallel stories. They both have the same characters in it. And it's talking about the same story, but just from different perspectives.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it's kind of cool, like if you read one of the books and then you read the other books, and it's kind of got a twist on it. But that
It
just
is Mick
goes
Garris who directed it.
desperation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, Desperation is just not that good of a book. But it does star Ron Perlman playing the sheriff.
I'll be honest, I only watched this movie once, and that is the only thing I remember about it.
Him being like creepy, pulling somebody over on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie is not good.
Yeah, it's got some people locked in a jail cell and things go crazy, I think.
I mean, Mick Garris is kind of a hack, right?
Yeah. He's not quite Larry Cohen level to me, but pretty close.
Yeah. I'd put him on who else would be in similar territory as Mick Garris? Maybe who's the guy who makes those crappy Puppet Master movies? Charles
Is
Band.
it Alan Peon? Oh, Charles Band produces them. Yeah, I think Albert Peon maybe directs them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Lots of S's, but all makes sense for the S. Yeah, I think we're actually kind of spot on with our assessment of his career so far. Oh, she must be talking about Desperation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Have you read any good books lately? Any good recommendations you can give me?
Oh man, most of what I read are you looking for non-fiction
No,
books about the history of horror movies?
it could be anything. Yeah. Lay it on me.
Yeah. Right now I'm reading, I think it's called Into the Dark, maybe? I'd have to look it up. Yeah, a lot of what I read is like nonfiction, stuff like that.
I love it though. Yeah, I'm totally down with stuff like that.
I think I just finished Scream Queens, How to Survive Horror Films, stuff like that.
Who's your
Just really
favorite Scream Queen of all time?
Ooh, that is a hard question.
Like if you only had one gun to your head.
I mean, I'd probably go with. Okay, you got to go the right timeline. Okay, so we're going Laurie Strode
Okay.
from 1 to H2O.
You don't like Resurrection, Strode?
I mean, that's the same timeline. I'm saying I'm not going the David Gordon Green timeline.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm down with that.
Laurie Strode gets so confusing.
You picked that over Nancy? That's crazy.
If I'm talking Nightmare on Elm Street, I mean, I have to go Jesse Walsh from Freddy's Revenge. And I'm the only person who would go that route. I get it, but
Yeah.
he was a great Scream Queen.
You're right. And that's why you're a great guest here. So, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about it.
The 90s?
Yeah, let's talk about the 90s one. We got the remake on here too, but yeah, let's start with the 90s. This movie, you want to talk about kinder trauma and like totally spooking the crap out of me when I was a kid? Yeah, this movie did it. Big
This
time.
TV movie scared an entire generation of human beings.
And I think I'm older than you, but I vaguely remember. I definitely remember watching this on VHS. I don't think I was there like on premiere night or anything, but I do know it was like a big deal when this shit dropped.
I remember they played it on TV when I was a kid, and I'm sure Sci-Fi played this all the time.
Yeah.
It must have. That just seems like something Sci-Fi would do. But yeah, I definitely remember watching this as a kid and being like perpetually afraid of storm drains. The guy who directed Cujo also directed the movie Alligator. And so I was really sure that there were alligators and clowns in the storm drains. Very afraid of them. Like,
Didn't
they
you
got
say
Ninja Turtles under there too. I don't know. I just don't trust it. Too much going on.
you just put out a video on your channel I listened to, and give a Lego a sub over there. She puts out great content, and you just put out a video talking about 80s horror movies, and you talked about Alligator, right? How you
Yes.
thought that
I really
alligators
thought that was
actually
not
were
an
in the
urban legend.
sewers.
I legit thought alligators lived in the storm drains. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of media about, animals living under the storm drains and getting affected by toxic waste. You got the Ninja Turtles, the Ghostbusters did stuff with ooze in the second movie. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in storm drains. It
See,
just
for
seems
me,
very
I always
believable.
thought, because I watched Ghoulies when I was too young, so I always
Oh
thought there
yeah.
was Ghoulies like in the toilet that would reach up and
I
get
I
you.
thought that Pennywise would come out of my storm drain. I kept a close eye when I bathed. I don't know about this.
Beep beep, Richie. So yeah, this is a great movie for
Tim
sure.
Curry is iconic.
Yeah. What do you think about that remake?
Okay, I went to see it when it premiered. I was very excited. I absolutely love it. And when the little, I mean, I'm not spoiling this, right? Everyone knows the little kid dies at the beginning. That's the opening of the movie.
Georgie. Yep.
Yeah. I laughed so hard. It's not that the CGI looked bad. It's just the thought process Andy Muschietti must have had to make all of these horrible looking CGI creations when he could have just gone more realistic, which was the fact that the 90s version is so much more frightening and it's a TV movie is
Yeah.
kind of sad. Like, I think Andy Muschietti, like, he seems very passionate. I'm assuming he must be very good to work with because he keeps getting these really high budget movies that don't necessarily perform that well. But he needs to stop with the CGI. He needs to have an intervention.
Well, he
It's
has a
too
blank
much.
check now because it was like one of the biggest performing horror movies.
Yeah, but his next few
R-rated.
movies were definitely not.
Yeah, but still, he gets a couple passes because the movie was so successful. But yeah,
And Bill
I agree.
Skarsgård does a good job. But I guess I get not wanting to do like the ritual of Chud, and there's a lot of things in the book you definitely can't do. But the extreme deviation the second one takes, where it becomes like a find the magical MacGuffins and split up, and I don't know. It was an odd
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Great
I guess,
cast, though.
are we doing it like the entire movie? Like the even including the adult version? 'Cause
I mean, I mean, it's too well. I mean, well, depend up to you. I would say the first part was definitely superior to the second by a long shot. Like I would put the 90s one in A tier. Like it's very effective. I mean, it shows that it's a 90s TV movie, but it still really works. If you're just going to the first part, I would put it in B. If we're including both parts, I'd put it in C.
Yeah. You know who's really good playing one of the adult actors is what's his name from Three's Company?
John Ritter.
Yeah, John Ritter is really good casting in that. I think out of all the adult actors, he's probably the best.
Oh, you don't like the guy from what was it? Oh, I can't remember. I had a great niche joke and I forgot. the
How do
title
you
of the
forget
movie.
it?
I think it's Battle Beyond the Stars. You don't like the guy from Battle Beyond the Stars? That phenomenal Star Wars ripoff?
Well, somebody on the replay will get that joke, I'm sure. But not me. Yeah, so I mean, do you just put the remake in A too? I guess Finn Wolfhard riding bicycles.
I mean, I'd put it in B, but if you want to put it in A, I get that.
No, I'm down with B. Is that something that Finn Wolfhard has in his contract? Like, I need to be riding a bicycle.
Does he ride a bicycle in the Ghostbuster movie?
I think he does.
Well, I mean, now he can drive. I mean, you'd think he'd want to up the game. Motorcycle.
I'm pretty sure he rides bikes in like all of his movies.
He should try to do like become a professional and do like Tour de France.
Yeah,
Just go
he's
all
the
in
next
on it.
Lance Armstrong over there. All right. Lawnmower Man. Oh man, how did I miss this? What a banger. Pierce Brosnan, pre-James Bond. Pierce Brosnan. This movie sucks.
Yeah. It was a lot of choices. I think it's definitely something that works better as a book in narrative form. I don't think it works as well as a film.
Well, no, it doesn't work as a book because the book is in one of his short stories and it's only like 10 pages long.
Oh, wow.
And it's literally just about a guy who hires like a landscaper to come over and mow his lawn. And it's like this weirdo dude that just goes and just starts like eating his grass in front of his lawn. That's seriously like the entire short story. It's about this guy who just like assumes like a fetal position on the lawn and just starts like eating the grass. It's gross and weird. So I don't know. They must have just saw that Stephen King was popular and just took the IP. They're like, well, let's make this
A lot
like
of
VR.
choices were made in that case.
Yeah.
More than I thought.
Yeah, totally. But if you get it,
it's a sweet lawnmower boy, and they made him go all Akira. Story as old as time.
Tale as old as time. If you get a chance, yeah, look up the short story. It's bonkers, and it's totally different than what the actual movie is. But yeah, at that point, his IP was so hot, like studios were probably just buying up everything.
I'd put it in C or D.
Yeah. I mean, Pierce Brosnan was pretty handsome in that movie, but yeah. You want to talk about the Night Flyer?
Oh, do I ever? Hey man, K&B did the makeup for this too, and it looks great. And there's a vampire. His name is Renfield. Because they wanted to make it obvious, I guess. It's about a guy, a reporter, goes a little unhinged, trying to solve a case or like break a story. I think it's pretty good. There's a like the climax, super effective. I absolutely love the climax. Like if you just rip away the rest of the movie in just the climax, I say the climax is an A. But if you have to attach the entire movie to it, I'd say it's a solid B or C. It's a fine movie, something I'd rewatch. That makeup, though, did I mention the makeup? Great. The idea to make a vampire look like an actual bat, very cool.
Totally agree. And who's that main actor? He's so good in it. That hard Miguel something?
Yeah, Miguel starts with an F.
Ferrer?
I think that's it.
Yeah,
He's
this
also on The
hard
Stand.
smoking, like drinking coffee. He's that kind of guy you can like smell from like watching the movie. You can smell what he like his pores.
Yeah, I could agree with that. He
Like
seems like he'd
he's
smell like an old turkey sandwich.
yeah. And maybe a little bit of like booze in there and just like some old coffee stains on his shirt. But yeah, that guy is so good in the movie. And the movie is also like 90 minutes long. It runs at a brisk pace.
Yeah.
And like what you're saying, that final ending when it becomes full on like Italian horror, giallo
Yes.
almost. Like it turns into like a Lucio Fulci movie towards the end, which I think is such a great. And if you're not familiar with Italian horror, like if you watch The Beyond or City of the Living Dead or something like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The movie turns black and white once he gets bit by the vampire and transforms, and is such a cool choice, artistic like style choice by the director. But yeah, the Night Flyer rocks. This movie's very cool.
Totally agree.
Sorry, I went on a little bit of a ramble there, but
I always appreciate a good rant.
yeah, I'd put this at least in B, maybe teetering on A.
I'd probably go B.
I guess. Yeah. All right. Let's run through a couple of these. Dreamcatcher. Is that what this is? Oh, Sometimes They Come Back.
Sometimes They Come Back. I really like that movie. I like the sequel more. I think probably just because I saw it more often. But it's like if Fonzie and his group of 45-year-old friends who were supposed to be teenagers came back from the dead to just continue to be jerks to this kid they bullied when they were alive. Yeah. It's directed by Tom McLaughlin, who also did the best Friday the 13th movie, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. I wish it had a bit more of that.
Whoa.
Hey.
All right. Keep going.
I wish it had a bit more of that like rock and that like forward proportion, that like craziness and energy that Jason Lives has. It doesn't. But I think this movie works really, really well, and it hinges on the performance of Tim Matheson, who does a great job.
And it's touching towards the end. It gets really emotional.
Yeah, the end is pretty sad.
Yeah. I watched this movie as a young kid, and it made me cry. I would definitely put this in B tier.
B?
And
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think this would be ripe for a good remake.
Have you seen any of the sequels? Sometimes They Come Back Again. Sometimes They Come Back for More. Aptly titled.
Sometimes they come back.
Well, now they're getting confusing.
Sometimes they're late, but they show up eventually.
Sometimes they didn't RSVP, but they came anyway. With a +1.
Yeah. That one starred Tom Sizemore. Who do you let's do a recasting of Sometimes They Come Back. The school teacher, Let's get Adam Sandler playing the school teacher,
That's a choice.
playing a straight role, and who's gonna play some of the greasers? Maybe who's the guy who played Elvis?
Oh, Austin Butler.
Yeah, Austin Butler. Get him in there playing like a total scumbag. You can play that.
Yeah, that works.
Maybe Timothy Chalamet or something. Throw him in there.
I feel like we're still going too old. Although,
Those guys were like 25, like 30.
oh, I mean, I'm in my 30s, man. Those guys had to have been a long-time members of AARP. They are getting discounts at Denny's.
Totally. Yeah. All right. We talked about John Cusack playing a good Stephen King. So this is his return to Stephen King
With Samuel L.
material.
Jackson.
Yep. With SJ. So what do you think about The Cell?
Man, how do you have such a great cast? I mean, it's got those two plus Owen Teague and Stacy Keach. Stacy Keach, phenomenal actors. This movie came out, first of all, it came out, to say politely, 10 years too late is an understatement.
Because this movie is in development hell for a while.
I could only imagine. Like, why would you? This needed a major rewrite to be released in 2016. Because, first of all, it's 2016. No one's using their phone to make phone calls in 2016. Come on. I haven't used my phone as a phone since 2008. Let's go.
Yeah. I think at one point, like Eli Roth was attached to direct this movie.
Oh, that would have been much more interesting.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people, like when this book came out, it was really hot. So a lot of people wanted to be involved in it, and it just took forever. So when it finally dropped, it just came out. I don't even think it came out in theaters. It just
I
kind
don't
of
think so.
like went right to Redbox. Like straight to DVD. Yeah, this movie stinks big time. John Cusack looks like he's seriously just sleepwalking through this
Oh, yeah, the
role.
guy who directed this directed Paranormal Activity too. I do remember that.
That's a great movie too. That's so weird.
It's better.
That's one of the better Paranormal Activity movies.
It's no marked ones, but it's definitely up there.
Yeah, marked ones is the best, right?
Definitely.
Do you have a second favorite Paranormal?
I mean, marked ones, the first one, the third one. I haven't watched the most recent one. I've heard it wasn't very good.
What's it even called?
I think
Next of Kin, right?
Oh, maybe I'm getting it confused. Something Dimension. Final Dimension?
The Ghost Dimension. That's what
Ghost
you're thinking
Dimension,
of.
yes.
Yeah, that was not good. But... All right. Anyway, yeah, Cell stinks.
Yeah,
It's really bad.
Cell stinks. Go watch the Japanese film Pulse instead. Much better. It's almost the same thing.
Nice.
But it actually came out in 2006, like the book.
I did a reaction to that on my channel. So
I'll have to go check that out. Oh man, that movie's so good.
Yeah, it was super good. Man, we're getting into the weeds here. Big Driver.
Never heard of it.
It's something, yeah. We talked last night about our tier list, and I don't think either of us knew about this.
I don't know what I think it's called Dolan's Cadillac. I don't know what that one is either.
That's a short story, and Big Driver is a novella too. It's a short story that Stephen King wrote when he was like in the 2010s, which was not a good era for him, in my opinion. But when he was writing shit like Dreamcatcher, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Do you want to talk about Dreamcatcher a little bit?
Yeah, I think, you know what? So this alien comes and he meets these boys and he gives them magic powers so that decades later they can help him save the world from another group of invading aliens, which I'm just going to say that all makes sense. I love the actors and the performances they're giving. I think it's fun, low budget, kind of schlock. Deeply enjoyable. I watch it about once a year.
It's one of those where the concept and the idea is, it's almost impossible to put on screen. Like how cool his vision is of this. Like they try and do their best of showing what like he was thinking, especially like talking about documenting memories in your brain, like where it's in the library and stuff. And
Oh yeah, the Mind Palace thing.
yeah, there's cool stuff, and they try and really tell you what is going on, but I think it's overloaded and a pretty sloppy, messy movie overall. It's got some cool stuff in it though. I like Jason Lee
Yeah.
in it. There's a creepy scene when, who's that one like weird dude like goes to their cabin and he's sitting on like the toilet and he's all like
Yeah, they
rotted.
found this guy out in the snowy woods and they were trying to help him and that went bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty freaky scene in the movie. But
It reminds me of Brain Damage, kind of.
except for Brain Damage is like way better.
Yeah, but those things do kind of look like Aylmer.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't, the guy, he has to like sit on the toilet as the
Yes,
Elmer is.
I would be deeply concerned. I would be flushing
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, the movie just does not know really where to go at some point. And once Morgan Freeman shows up, the movie just loses all of its steam. So I'd put it in C, I guess.
Definitely fair.
All right. Do you mind if I run to the bathroom and you talk to the chat for a second?
Sure, no problem.
All right. We only got 4 movies left. So
Okay, so this toilet scene definitely still haunts me too. I think that's something that will haunt everyone. Although again, not quite as much as it did. Pennywise coming out of the shower was still to me. It reminds you of The Thing. I guess I get that because like the snowy atmosphere. Horror movies can be a little tricky like that because generally speaking, you want to have your characters isolated because otherwise usually a horror movie wouldn't happen unless it's something like a zombie apocalypse, in which case that's one of the rare scenarios where you need your characters to be very much in a civilized area. Otherwise, they wouldn't notice there's a zombie apocalypse. Although that would be funny if they started off on a farm and then drove into town and like, oh wait, no, never mind. I'll just go live in my tornado cellar. I wonder if, like how that would work. I feel like now I'm getting into like 10 Cloverfield Lane at that point, which would be a great way to redo that movie if they ever wanted to. Dark Tower series would be amazing fit for a video game. Yeah, we haven't talked about the movie yet, but I do think that's something that's more fitting visually and for like a longer narrative story than for the film. Although I'm assuming they wanted to make sequels, that's just not gonna happen, sadly. Yeah, some of these need longer form storytelling than just an hour and a half movie. Yeah. Paranormal Activity Ghost Nation. I'll give it a shot. I'm a completionist. That's just one I haven't gotten around to finishing yet.
Don't. That's one of my friends. Don't listen to him. He is the biggest stand for Ghost Dimension. It's ridiculous. Okay. All right. Final four. 1922.
It's King's version of A Telltale Heart, starring
Yeah, you're
Thomas
right.
Jane. It's hard to tell that story wrong. Obviously set in the 1920s. Thomas Jane does a phenomenal job. It's a story about guilt and being haunted by your guilt. And life lesson here, don't murder your wife, and definitely don't drag your kid into it, because it will not end well.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're totally spot on. Like Thomas Jane. It's a great, little quiet, subtle performance from him. And I think is this also Mike Flanagan?
I don't think so.
You may have to look that up, but
Don't recall. It is Zach Hilditch.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with him.
But yeah, this is a pretty moving, kind of sketchy little movie.
It's simple and effective, definitely.
Yeah. I'd put it in the B tier.
Yeah, totally agree. They don't have In the Tall Grass on this list, but I think I watched those movies together and they kind of blend in for me, although I'd say that one is definitely a D tier movie.
Well, isn't In the Tall Grass Stephen King's son?
Oh, really? I was pretty sure that was him.
I thought that was Joe Hill. Or maybe not Joe Hill, but one of his other sons. But yeah, that was another good movie. Is that Patrick Wilson?
Yeah.
All right. Since we're on the Thomas Jane train, let's talk about The Mist.
I mean, talk about a perfect movie.
I don't know if it's perfect.
You don't know?
The
You don't think so?
CG could be better.
It looks so good in black and white, though.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's a movie
Frank
I
Darabont.
hate it. Yeah, Frank Darabont.
God, this is a scary movie, and holy shit, that ending. I mean,
Yes.
it goes without saying, this is probably one of the most effed up endings of all time. Tragic.
Definitely. Perfect nailed the ending actually, but it's just it's so messed up. It's so effective, and I hate the movie. It's just not a fun watch, but it's such a great movie. I don't know who did the scoring, but it so builds the atmosphere, and the performances and everything just keeps getting the pacing. It works so well.
This is another one where the ending of the short story is different than what Darabont, because Darabont went out on free creative liberty, saying you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing, and I think he ran it by Stephen King and got his blessing. He's like, I'm just gonna make this a really fucked up ending. And Stephen King was like, all right, man, go for it. This is crazy, but do it. And it works. It works for the movie. It's very impactful. Yeah.
Ashby had said that he got the idea when he was grocery shopping and a bug hit the window. I guess he doesn't drive.
Well, that's so cool that just something small like that can inspire you to come up with a cool story. Because I think his inspiration for The Shining was he was actually at that hotel at the
Stanley?
Overlook.
Yeah.
or the Stanley, right? And he was walking around and he got lost trying to find his hotel room. He's like, you know what? This would be creepy. Just getting lost in a hotel.
I tried to stay there, like I was making plans, but when I was booking it, when it came to the total, because I was going to be there for a few days, it was
Oh, God.
$666. I'm like, that's a bad sign.
For how many nights?
I don't remember, but the fact that it was 666, I'm like, that's a terrible sign.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
an
no to
omen.
me.
Where do we put the mist?
I
A
mean, I
or
go
S?
S. I go S.
Yeah, I'm down with that. All right. Uh, we got to talk about it. The Dark Tower. Now,
I mean, to me, it kind of seemed like an episode of like Battlestar Galactica or something, or Stargate. Like it was just, I, 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 I was wanting something like Annihilation, like something very colorful and abstract, and then bringing in like the gunslinger character, like the kind of merging of those things, something that seemed so beyond real. Eh, this is a
yeah,
movie that was written and people acted in it and it was released. Then I would put it in D tier personally, 'cause it's very boring and ineffective.
yeah. Um, this movie is beyond disappointing because I'm such a massive fan of the Dark Tower books, like the Gunslinger, the drawing of the three, like um, what's some of the other books? I don't know. I'm blanking right now, but I'm a huge fan of this franchise. So when this movie got announced, it was huge news. I was following all the news reports, and all of a sudden we heard that Matthew McConaughey was going to play the Man in Black. It's like, oh my god, that's perfect casting. Seriously, because Rick Flanagan, Rick Flag, I think
Yeah, flag.
his yeah his character Matthew McConaughey. He's coming straight off True Detective. Matthew McConaughey was like, oh, this is perfect. And then they got Roland, who's the gunslinger. They got
Idris
Idris.
Elba.
Oh, yeah, and that was like another great casting decision. So I was beyond hyped for this movie. I could not wait for it. And God, going to see this movie in theaters. I don't know. Have you ever seen like something that you were so hyped for that, or it doesn't even have to be like a movie. It could be anything. Like something you were really expecting to be great, and it just turned out to be terrible. So bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, that's what this movie was because they truncated like 6 books into an hour and a half, and God, it's just like, man, the potential that was so wasted on this piece of filth. This movie is absolute garbage. So I'm sorry. I'll get off my soapbox.
Oh no, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just a lot of choices were made that just don't make sense.
it's like you had everybody there at the right time. Like, how do you mess this up? Um, um. Run through a couple of these. Here we go. Like, well, yeah, exactly. Like this should have been an 8-episode HBO miniseries easily. S- God,
It's weird
so
that they
bad.
kind of went away from doing those like Stephen King adaptations like that. I mean, given like they used to do that so much, and now kind of miniseries are coming back, but like the Stephen King miniseries really aren't coming back.
What's the deal with the new Salem's Lot movie?
That has been announced for so long. And I'm still following it, but I don't know what's up.
Where is it? Right? Like, didn't they shoot that like 3 years ago? Where is it?
Did they complete it? I mean, it's just been sitting.
No,
I
I
don't
think it's
know.
done. What, they just gonna do a tax write-off on it? Like pull a Batgirl on it?
Oh man, I hope not. Because I mean, The Sandlot's such a fun, cool vampire story.
Yeah. That's another one though that I don't think really can be told in just a quick little 2-hour movie. So
Yeah, I wish they had done something longer with it.
yeah. All right. Speaking of,
Okay. Hear me out on Maximum Overdrive, and let me tell you why it's the best Stephen King movie.
okay, let's hear it.
First of all, 1986. Picture it. Maine, I'm assuming. Stephen King, out of his mind, just white everywhere. In a cloud of cocaine and fun times, decides to direct his own movie because all these other directors, they just keep messing up his stuff. You know, why are they doing that? They shouldn't have done it. Now he's going to have to show them what scary really is. And what he decided what scary really is a comet going overhead and causing some battery powered things, some electronic things, some motor vehicles, and some not to come to life. And doesn't make any sense? No. Is the soundtrack by AC/DC? Yes. Is he equating gasoline that you use to fill your vehicle so it can drive to drugs? Definitely. Does that make sense? I hope not. Is Lisa Simpson, voice actress, Lisa Simpson, in it? Yes. Does a woman come out screaming, "We made you"? Definitely. This is there is no more fun movie. Find me a more fun movie. It's everything. For all ages. Tons of fun. It's a carnival ride. It's possibly every carnival ride after you've eaten every snack. A morsel. Fantastic.
Yes. It's cotton, not cotton candy. Yeah, it's cotton candy. It's the best cookie dough ice cream flavor ever in cinema form. Yeah, this movie rules. It's super fun.
The
We
Goblin
made
Truck?
you.
Goblin Truck.
Yeah, and you got that killer, like you touch on that AC/DC soundtrack, that who made who? Who made you? Like that song rocks. Um and you got Emilio Estevez, who's probably like doing rails with Stephen King behind the scenes. This movie is just totally bonkers. But it's incredible. I'd put this in A just
Oh,
to cap it off.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think you did a great job summarizing it. Like, do the logistics really make sense? No, but whatever.
They don't need to because it's you're just in for the ride.
And I live in North Carolina. You know, they shot that in
Yeah, Wilmington.
yeah, Oh, it's Wilmington, right?
I thought, or maybe not.
And did you hear the behind the scenes of like how they found that head of the monster truck?
Oh no.
It was like some people doing some behind the scenes. They went to go make like a making of documentary, and they went to go to the shooting locations of the movie, and they found that like one of the extra heads just like laying out in the woods.
That's
And they
amazing.
Yeah, and they went and grabbed it, of course, and like preserved it and stuff. But that's
Can you imagine
insane.
having that like on the side of your house? Ah,
I want to put that shit like in front of my Honda Civic. I'm sure. Yeah.
oh man.
All right. Well, let's see. Give it a couple more minutes here. Is there anything else we missed while discussing this? Sorry, I know we ran kind of long. I'm sorry for keeping you, Lego. Thanks for thanks for being a good sport.
Oh yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Mostly good
Um,
movies.
For the most part. Let's see.
Oh, I think yeah, some people were mentioning Rose Red. Rose Red is I really like it. But I mean, it's Stephen King pulling from Haunting of Hill House. Oh wait, that's not what it's called. No, that is what it's called. Haunting of Hill House. What
That
is the
was
actual
Mike
book called?
Flanagan,
I
right?
read it.
Is that Fall of the House of Usher?
No. The actual book. I think it's called Haunting of Hill House, and then The Legend of Hell House. I mean, he's pretty much pulling from those books when he made Rose Red. Like, that's not like a unique idea. Like, he was definitely kind of adapting her work through his lens. Do you like
You
Rose
know,
Red?
I honestly really couldn't comment on it because I remember what it was, a TV movie, right?
Yeah, it's like 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you anything about it, but it was kind of like a spook show, haunted house
Yeah.
type thing, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I remember liking it, but I really couldn't tell you anything about it. You know what else I was missing was Storm of the Century.
I love Storm of the Century. I
Uh,
watch it every year. That's probably
really?
yeah, I think it's like I mean, honestly, like things I rewatch a lot would be like Maximum Overdrive, Storm of the Century. Like whenever it snows, it's like, all right, time to watch Storm of the Century.
Yeah, it's a really good hibernation, wintry, spooky tale. What's his whole thing like? Dun dun dun, come on in.
Oh shoot. I remember give me what I want and I'll go away.
Give me what I want and I'll go away.
Now I
That
can't remember the
actor,
line. Mm.
it's like something ring ring ring, like come on in. Something like that. But yeah, that movie is super creepy.
And Tim Daly's great. Yeah, I love it. You really get they did a great job of like getting you invested in the town. I think more than a lot of these movies do, but I think a lot of his books really try to do. And I think this more than anything else like really introduced you to that town
Hmm.
and it got you isolated in a really really good way.
Yeah, you got to know all those side characters and everything, which makes his books great. And was that Storm of the Century something? It wasn't based on a book, but I
He
think
wrote
he just wrote it.
the screenplay.
Okay, gotcha.
And the adaptation is pretty much 1-to-1. It's not really different.
All right, gotcha. Well, thanks for hanging out. I mean, this was definitely a lot of fun, and I appreciate you being super game to hang out with me for, God, we're almost 3 hours into this, but I think we pretty much spread. We covered the board.
Yeah, I think so. I guess we left off Langoliers and Tommyknockers. I say both of those are C. Really like them. And after that, I think we hit everything.
All right. The Tommyknockers. God, I got the book here too. Should
Have you
probably
read it?
remembered that. It's not good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, well, we didn't talk about like the Boogeyman that came out this year.
I haven't seen that.
You're not missing anything. Yeah. God. There's probably like a huge one that we're missing, but yeah.
I mean, the
whatever.
only things I can think we missed are 11/22/63, which is very specific, and Bag of Bones. Which did anyone
Okay.
watch that?
11/22/63. Did you watch that miniseries with James Franco?
No.
Oh, it was pretty good. And Under the Dome. We didn't talk
Oh,
about
I
that.
did watch that.
Oh, okay.
It was.
You want to
It
cover
was
that
fine.
real quick?
It was fine. You know, watchable. Maybe went on a little too long.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it got kind of weird.
It kind of got
Butterfly
into
aliens? I don't know.
like Lost territory where it lost the plot, you know. But yeah, just not very good. But anyway, thanks, Dallas, Ash, Rick, and most importantly, Lego for hanging out and yeah, talking about Stephen King. This
Yeah,
was
thanks
fun.
so much for having me. It was fun.
All right, we'll catch up later. All right, see ya. Good night.